G'day and welcome back to the 40 channel. So it's a quick tip today, 2 quick tips in one. So how cool is that? The first one is slave cylinder. This one here has had a second-hand unit on it, had a dodgy boot on it. It's done the last long dry for a drought and the fluid looks absolutely terrible. It is black, metallic, it is bad. So we're going to give it a full flush out, and on top of that, a brand new hose. Now this is all from Terrain Tamer. Mate, Terrain Tamer gear is on point. Let's get straight into fitting up the Terrain Tamer gear. I'm just going to crack the thread on the hose just while it's in position. Then we need to take the spring off. We just use some long nose vice grips, grab hold of it, pop it off. That way you won't lose it. And undo your 2 bolts, and that's it. Slave cylinder is off. It's really important to clean out the old master cylinder reservoir, give it a really good flush out, wipe it all out, give it another good flush until it is as clean as possible. Otherwise you're just going to get all that terrible rubbish just mixing straight in with the new fluid, and we don't want that going into our new slave cylinder. Alright, so you want to remove that little circlip at the back. Front little circlip, if I can get it off without dropping it. That allows us to push that up, and then we can get a really good purchase. 17mm spanner here, and our crow's foot 10mm here, and then we can undo it, swap out the hose. Got it. Winner. You can use the same hose as the brake hose that goes to the rear. So we want to make sure that we keep all our little bits and pieces, just in case your hose doesn't come with them. Now reinstall this hose. Pop off the little circlip, and that'll allow you to push it all the way through, and then you can spin the hose onto the fitting. Make sure you inspect the end of the fitting to make sure it's not damaged or anything like that. Check the thread, give it a bit of a clean up, and then we're good to go with a brand new hose. Righto, put your little clips on. I'll put the bottom clip back on. That'll hold it from going up. The top clip from stop it going down. And then we'll be able to... Terrible filming this one. Doing our best. Righto, so this was an aftermarket one originally. Now, some brands you buy, you have to retain your push rod. So make sure you don't get rid of that. But the cool thing is, look how dirty this stuff is. It's crazy. The cool thing is, with the Terrain Tamer stuff, brand new rod. So the first thing we're going to do for a preliminary setup, we're going to set that distance the same as the one that came off. Righto, a nice small little hole in the Terrain Tamer boot, and it's well retained on the back of the slave cylinder, so hopefully that'll keep all the dust, all the water, all the rubbish out, not get inside. This boot here, as you can see, it was pretty bad. I had to cable tie it on because it was so loose at the front, and it's actually quite loose right at the front there too, so it's not a great thing for the bore. New boot on the rod, and we've got a little indent just there, so we want to get up to that point there. A Terrain Tamer slave cylinder, and I'm just going to spin it up onto our new hose until we get it pretty tight. Just like that. Now we're right to fit it up and we'll nip that up right at the end. Line it up. And do all your bolts up. Make sure your little spring bracket is sitting right at the front there. Now let's just do this up. Nice little tight nip up. Done. Put our spring on. Like that. Righto, now we're ready to bleed it. We've just filled it to the brim and we've had our hose attachment on it and it's running down into a little container, and I'm just letting it gravity feed, so that way it can just gravity feed all the way through before we get Jack over to start pumping the clutch. Make sure you do not let it go below, otherwise you're going to get air back into it. Our aim is to get all the air out of the system. When it's nearly out, I'm going to top it back up again. We're going to lock off the bottom. We're going to get Jack to come over. Right to climb in, Jack? Yeah. Right, give it a couple pumps. Right, just hold it down. Alright, pump it up. Hold it down. Once we've got all the air out of it and the old cruddy brake fluid, you pop the tap back on it and we're done. Righto, now I said there was going to be 2 quick tips in this particular video. Let's get straight into the second quick tip. Righto, there must be simple solutions for simple problems. The biggest problem we've got is that, you know, all that extra power, drive through a bit of mud, it flicks all this mud up. So it'd be really, really good if there was some type of flap thing that stopped mud, I guess. But, oh. Mud flaps, how good is that from Terrain Tamer? Mate, this is going to be the quickest and simplest install we've ever done. Sensational. Righto, so very difficult installation for this and very complicated to do, so that give you a full tutorial on how to install a mud flap. Now the great thing is Terrain Tamer have gone to a lot of effort and they've put holes in the top of it, and these holes hopefully should line up to here. Worst case scenario, just drill some new holes. 2 10mm spanners and 2 bolts. I told you it was going to be complicated. Righto, let's see if we can work this complicated part out. Righto, so you just get your bolt. Now I'm just using an M6. Get some mud flap washers if you got them. Slide that into the provided hole from Terrain Tamer, and then match up the 2 holes that you have on your existing vehicle. Oh, this is difficult. I can't. Okay. Oh my goodness. Crikey, I told you it was complicated. Righto, job done. Now how cool do these look? They really tie in with the vehicle, they tie in with the rest of the Terrain Tamer equipment we've got on here, and a little bit of tech support on how to put them on. I think you'll be okay to getting them on too. Righto, that's it. So hopefully a nice quick tip, helpful video for you guys in changing out your slave cylinder for your clutch and the mud flaps. Mate, it looks awesome, really ties in. Set it all up so your throwout bearings are going to be correct on the clutch plate inside. You've got that adjustment there, you've got heaps of adjustment, which is really, really good. Now all that's left to do is take it for a test drive. Anyway guys, until next time, take care of yourselves.